India versus South Africa, first test at Kolkata. India lost by 30 runs, and I'm not just disappointed. I'm actually disappointed is an understatement because जिस पोजीशन में इंडिया थी ओवरनाइट, जब साउथ अफ्रीका 93 फॉर 7 थे, उनको बस 3 विकेट्स चाहिए थे. दे जस्ट needed to wrap it up quickly under 100, and they would have absolutely fancied chasing that total down. Even this total was pretty reachable, because obviously South Africa must have been confident that they can defend the score, but all they needed was a good 50-run partnership, a good top order 50-run partnership, एंड द गेम वॉज देयर्स. बट वो भी नहीं हुआ. अभी मैं वही सोच रहा हूँ कि ऐसा पिच देने की ज़रूरत ही क्या है. एंड ऐसे नहीं है कि ये पिच गलती से बना है. दिस इज एग्जैक्टली द सॉर्ट ऑफ पिच दे वर लुकिंग फॉर अकॉर्डिंग टू जीजी. क्यों? व्हाट हैव दे लर्न फ्रॉम द न्यूजीलैंड सीरीज? दैट अगर आप ऐसे पिचेस दोगे जो पहले दिन पहले सेशन से इतना रेजिंग टर्नर बन जाए, माइनफील्ड बन जाए, जहाँ पे विकेट स्क्वायर टर्न हो रहा है, डजेंट मैटर वेयर यू बॉल, डजेंट मैटर हु बॉल्स, एडन मार्क्रम हो या न्यूजीलैंड का ग्लेन फिलिप्स हो या इंग्लैंड का जो रूट हो, और इंडिया का जडेजा हो और साउथ अफ्रीका का केशव महाराज हो, डजेंट मैटर हु बॉल्स, द बॉल इज गोइंग टू टर्न स्क्वायर. तो इस पिच पे जो इंडिया को एडवांटेज मिलता है एक्सपीरियंस स्पिनर्स का, होम कंडीशंस का. होम कंडीशन का मतलब ये नहीं कि तुम रेजिंग टर्नर दे दो, बिकॉज क्लियरली इट्स नॉट वर्किंग. होम कंडीशन का मतलब ये है कि तुम ऐसा पिच दो जहाँ पे द एक्सपीरियंस्ड स्पिनर्स, द स्किलफुल स्पिनर्स can use their variations to their advantage, can use the pitch, can use the subtlety of spin bowling to their advantage, and then they can win the wickets. That is exactly how it was supposed to. That is exactly what was supposed to happen. But ऐसा पिच जहाँ पे मार्क्रम, रूट, फिलिप्स, फाइफर ले ले आप बॉलिंग डाल के, दिस इज नॉट द पिच दैट इंडिया नीड. दे से देयर इन अ ट्रांजिशन फेज. ओके, देन क्लियरली इट्स नॉट वर्किंग. न्यूजीलैंड सीरीज में आप इसीलिए हारे थे क्योंकि आपने ऐसे पिचेस दिए थे कि ग्लेन फिलिप्स भी गेम में था. अजाज पटेल जैसा बॉलर जो इतना एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है, वो भी गेम में आ गए. और सैंटनर ने जो बॉलिंग डाली थी वो तो बहुत बढ़िया थी, बट ही डजंट हैव दैट गुड ऑफ अ टेस्ट रिकॉर्ड. एंड all of them combined beat India's Washington, Aksar, Jadeja, Ashwin, that quadrilateral. They beat them. That is exactly what India don't need, and that is what they got in this test match. So I don't understand, the mentality ki kya zarurat hai. You don't need these such pitches to win. So that was the first fault, management ka, and this is the fourth consecutive Sena loss for India. 3 against New Zealand and now South Africa, and again they can't win the series because it's just a 2-match series. Even if they win the next series, it will be a draw. So it continues. The wait continues for a good Test series victory for India. Not the West Indies one. I'm not exactly considering right now because West Indies have become a very poor Test cricketing nation, unfortunately. So basically, they haven't won a single Test series at home, and that's not the record. That's not the sort of record that you need. But this team has won against Baseball in England. They have won from dire situations. They have come back again and again on pitches that have been pretty flat, but also pretty competitive because almost all games have gone till day 5. So I'm not saying those are the exact sort of pitches you make, because no, temperature, weather, conditions, they all differ. I know that, and it's obvious that in India pitch is going to be dominant because of the hot overhead conditions, because of the dryness, because of the soil. But I don't know, they could have made a pitch like they have made against West Indies. That was not a bad pitch at all. Those two were not bad pitches at all. So moving on from the pitch, let's talk about the performance of this team. To be very honest, I didn't find a lot to complain about the playing 11 because we needed Kuldeep, Bumrah, Siraj, obviously, and Washington Sundar was going to play, and I actually liked the fact that they put him up at number 3 because India have been struggling to find a number 3 lately, and nobody has been performing consistently. And good on them to drop Sai Sudarshan because he wasn't performing even the A games. he was getting starts, but he just doesn't look as confident while playing the shots, and while he gets out all of a sudden, and there are some technical faults in him as well. So, and Washington performed pretty well. He consumed a lot of balls in this match. That is exactly what a number three is supposed to do. I can't blame him for this loss because he gave his best. He made 25-30 odd runs in both the innings, and very valuable runs, because this was a very low scoring game, and uh, a batsman could barely cross even single digits. So very valuable. I liked that they sent him ahead, that he could show his class. He could stitch partnerships with the batsmen, not always with the lower order, and he would be able to show his class. So, and obviously Akshar Patel, you could argue that they shouldn't have picked Akshar Patel because they were maybe there was one too many spinner in India's playing 11. Maybe you could argue that, but Akshar Patel has shown time and time again how handy a batsman he is. And on this pitch, it was almost tailor made for him, for his undercut bowling variation. He couldn't extract a lot out of the surface, but he did bowl pretty decently. And in the second innings, he scored a quick fire 28. Unfortunately, it was not enough for India. So you could argue that they could have played one batsman in place of Akshar Patel, and they could have given the ball to Washington Sundar, like they did to Akshar Patel. And one thing I found out, I find weird, is that they underbowled Washington Sundar way too much. They just underbowled. I don't understand why Washington Sundar is not given the ball enough. We've seen that in England. We've seen that against West Indies. In England, he was the best spinner for India, with his drift, and with he was turning the ball occasionally, but with his drift especially, he was extremely lethal. And against New Zealand in Pune last year, he took a 7 wicket haul. He played well against England in England. And he's become a much better spinner than he was. He's probably at his best right now, batting wise as well as bowling wise. So in the second innings, South Africa played 54 overs, but not one over was given to Washington Sundar. Now, if they look at Washington Sundar as a pure number three batsman, that's not fair, because just because he bats at number three doesn't mean he's become a proper batsman, and that you cannot give a bowl to him. Even part timers bowl when they're not even supposed to. So not giving the ball to Washington Sundar was a bit of a surprise to me, and I really think they fixed this issue, because Simon Harmer, he's a right arm orthodox. I know that he got most of his wickets against left-handers, and he didn't bowl a lot to right-handers. But still, Washington Sundar is equally dangerous against right-handers with his drift that he gets. He can beat the outsiders of the batsman with his variations, with his straighter one, and then some of his, because he's a tall guy. If he could pitch the ball somewhere around between full and good, or maybe even good length, he can also extract a lot of bounce out of the wicket. So very surprising, and they should not do that. And if they wanted to pick Washington Sundar at three, and they didn't want to let him bowl, then why not pick a proper number three if they didn't want to let Washington bowl? And it's not going to happen, because Washington is a must in this side. He's shown time and time again why he's a must. And if he's a must, then give him to bowl. Give him the ball. Don't take away his. Don't underestimate his spin bowling capabilities at all. So some really surprising decisions. And जो आज कल रात को 6 almost 93 for 7th है South Africa, and this, even the yesterday's Rishabh Pant's captaincy was spot on, but आज सुबह क्या हो गया पता नहीं चला, क्योंकि from the first ball itself बहुत defensive feel थी, even for the spinners. मिड ऑफ नहीं था, कभी मिड ऑन नहीं था, मिड विकेट नहीं था, कभी पॉइंट नहीं था, बहुत ऐसा ओपन फील्ड डिफेंसिव फील्ड थी. एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट बवूमा एंड कॉर्बिन बॉश कुड रोटेट स्ट्राइक and could also hit the occasional boundary. So maybe it could have been a strategy, कुछ तो बोल के भेजा होगा, because from the very first ball it was I could make out कि वो ऐसा काफ़ी defensive field है, and they gave away too many easy singles. एंड बवूमा इतना अच्छा खेल रहा था कि यू नो उसको उसको आसानी से स्ट्राइक रोटेट करने दिया एंड कॉर्बिन बॉश एंड बवूमा कुड शेयर द स्ट्राइक एंड runs were also being made at that point. If India had gotten South Africa all out under 80 or 90, the game was done and dusted there itself. Even at 125, I thought it was 70-30 to India. But the bowlers can't do every single thing. Batsman को भी batting करनी पड़ेगी. In the first innings, it was a very disappointing performance by the batsman. अगर first innings में उनको that was the chance, because that 150 odd that South Africa got in the first innings, it was not enough. It was under par. And if India had gotten a lead of 50, 60, or even 100, let's just say 50, because those 20, 30 runs made the difference for India. Let's say they had gotten a lead of 60, so the match was done and dusted there itself. And they underestimate the importance of the first innings. They thought that we could just wrap it up in the second innings and we could chase a score between 100 and 150. But that's not the right approach. You need to try to just bat once and get as many runs as you can in the first innings. So that wasn't the case. They lost a lot of wickets in like a pack of cards in the first innings as well. So that's one thing that I thought they could have improved upon. And if you're not confident about batting on these minefields, then just don't give the batsman minefields to bat on. The average affect हो रहा है, उनकी batting affect हो रही है, confidence affect हो रहा है, your team is also losing, your bowling advantage is being negated. Just don't do it. And it was like a copy paste of the New Zealand series. उसमें जो हुआ था ना कि ओके फर्स्ट इनिंग्स में लो स्कोर बनाया, फिर इंडिया ने आके फर्स्ट इनिंग्स में लो स्कोर बनाया, फिर बॉलिंग इंडियन बॉलर्स पे प्रेशर है कि इतने 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 रन्स के पहले उनको ऑल आउट करो, एंड थोड़े 20-30 रन्स एक्स्ट्रा दे दिए एंड दोज रन्स प्रूव्ड टू बी द गेम चेंजिंग रन्स. सेम कॉपी पेस्ट हो रहा है. क्यों हो रहा है? नहीं होना चाहिए. कम ऑन, इट्स बिन अ ईयर. एग्जैक्टली एक साल पहले इंडिया हारी थी सेम चीज़ करके. एटलीस्ट डोंट रिपीट दीज थिंग्स. एंड अभी 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 हो सकता है कि अभी जो नेक्स्ट मैच गुवाहाटी में होने वाला है कि ऐसा गार्डन वाला पिच दे रबाडा आके ही कुड रन थ्रू इंडियाज टॉप ऑर्डर एंड मिडल ऑर्डर. So they shouldn't overcorrect as well. They should give a proper cricketing pitch. It's not all. It's just, see. I know you're not. I know India is not as confident to play on these pitches. Nobody is. I can't recall कौन इस पिच पे बहुत अच्छा खेल सकता था. बवूमा अच्छा खेला. It could have been Steve Smith, Joe Root, I don't know, but very few people, जो बहुत technically sound है. Only those people, with a pinch of luck, they could have survived on this wicket. And Bavuma did exactly that. And his runs, absolute valuable gold runs. Jaiswal hasn't been performing in the second innings. I don't know what happens to Jaiswal, because maybe it's the scoreboard pressure, maybe it's the pressure to chase runs as early as possible. That's why he tries to play that cut shot very frequently. In the second innings, he almost got out twice playing the cut shot before Jansen got him defending and nicking him to the wicket keeper. So Jaiswal really needs to improve. He gets very emotional and he gets very impatient because he has the defense. He should just avoid getting impatient. The batting coach should work on Yashasvi Jaiswal, work with Yashasvi Jaiswal on this very topic about not getting impatient. He has the capability to bat long. He has shown it. So he just, if he trusts his defense a little more, he can be much better in the second innings as well as in the first innings. The first innings isn't as much as a problem for Jaiswal, but the second innings definitely is. No runs from him in the second innings at all till now. He just tries to slog his way out in the second innings, and that doesn't always work. Like Washington Sundar applied himself, he played 80, 90 odd balls. Even Jaiswal could have applied himself, but he generally does. He just doesn't do that. And Rahul did play well in this match. In the second innings, that ball was pretty vicious, so I'm not gonna blame him that much. And Jadeja's performance was good. Simon Harmer, if Simon Harmer took so many wickets against Pakistan a few days ago. पाकिस्तान में टेस्ट मैच हो रही थी. उनके सारे लेफ्ट हैंडर्स के अगेंस्ट ही took all his wickets. So India should have known कि इतने लेफ्ट हैंडर्स इज लाइक खुद के पैर पर कुल्हाड़ी मारना against Simon Harmer because he's so good. He's just so good in general, especially if you give him left hand. He's like Ashwin for left-handers. If you give him left-handers, he's going to feast on them. On top of this minefield, he's going to absolutely feast on them. So there they made a mistake of underestimating South Africa spinners. चलो ठीक है, न्यूजीलैंड के spinners इतने भी experienced नहीं थे. They still ended up winning against India, but these spinners are very good. Simon Harmer has more than 1,000 first-class wickets. Keshav Maharaj has proven, he's an experienced campaigner for South Africa. He has troubled India before, and they just needed two spinners. And Senuran Muthusamy was also not there, and Senuran Muthusamy has also troubled India. He has troubled Pakistan a few weeks ago. So if he comes in the next match, which I doubt, because in this match was an absolute minefield, and to play Muthusamy in the next match, they would have to serve a minefield of a minefield. So I don't think that's going to happen. So my point is, there were some strategic bad choices as well, some bad strategy, some bad choices pitch wise, not exactly team wise, because in hindsight you can always say कि ये changes करने थे वो, but अगर हम जीत जाते 125 chase करके, nobody would talk about these changes. So maybe not team wise, but definitely pitch wise, strategy wise, the management, Gautam Gambhir should understand, he should know कि हमने जो भी mistakes किए वो improve करने हैं. Otherwise, another test loss is coming for India. 2-0. Before that, New Zealand 3-0. And that's it. He should be sacked in case that happens. It's non-excusable. And Gill, he might say कि Gill injure हो गया था. That could हो सकता है कि वही difference है between both the teams. 15-15 रन वो दोनों इनिंग में कर लेता तो that could have proved to be the point of difference, but excuses don't work in cricket. So India have to improve. The pitch has to improve. The management, the strategy, everything has to improve if we are to, again, if India is to chase home dominance again. It's not about away, it's about the home dominance. Don't give it away so easily. So yeah, let's see what happens.